as you know, Donald Trump gets most of his advice from Sean Hannity. However, to be fair, he also gets his advice from Fox and Friends in the morning. Hannity's at night. He likes to get his advice 24/7. Here is Fox and Friends. Is this from this morning? And there's an interview that Earhart, is that Ainsley Earhardt?
Yep.
Is interviewing Geraldo, and this is just after Geraldo. Didn't he just have like some situation where he had an argument with Bill Maher? I think somebody sent me that clip where Geraldo was trying to justify like being on Fox. And here is Fox and Friends, Ainsley Earhardt, suggesting that maybe, hopefully, there'll be a war in Syria, so we don't have to hear so much about this Comey stuff.
Geraldo, if the president in the UK and France decide...
I'm sorry, Allison.
If the president in France and the UK decide to strike Syria, don't you think that story would be a bigger story than Comey's book that's released on Tuesday?
Again, I apologize for the delay in stepping on you, Ainsley, but I think that the United States, the United Kingdom, and France certainly have the military wherewithal. Indeed, the United States could do it on its own, strike Syria, strike Assad's resources, military assets in retaliation for the gas attack, the horrifying gas attack.
That wasn't really the question, Geraldo.
Well, I mean,
but can we get Comey out of the cycle? You got to stay focused in my morning briefing.
First of all, I love how they're talking about it now as if it's like some big coalition of the willing.
Right.
And but then the idea that Geraldo now, it must be, after his exchange with Bill Maher, must be super sensitive to this thing, because he clearly was not going to answer that question. Like,
right, you just
really
on national. They're like, Fox is real news. Do I think we should engage in war to specifically change a news cycle as a setup question on a news hit? I'm going to focus on the hardware we have.
I mean,
I hope him and Bill Maher literally kill each other like Game of Thrones style, Mountain versus Viper.
It's
wow. That's gruesome. Sudan only kept the goddamn dress out of the news cycle for a day, so I can tell you unequivocally no. And I did, because I probably still do talk with Donald Trump on the phone, give him advice from time to time.
I got a little something for you. Run this little play.
Yeah, run this play. You think that bombing a place in the Middle East will change the cycle? Well, I can assure you it won't.
No, I mean, it probably should for at least a little bit. I do think that if we engage in a war with Syria, it would be slightly more important than James Comey's book tour. But
I think we're actually in a stage of hyper-normalization where it would be like, oh, we're bombing Syria. James Comey just said that Trump asked if they could compare penis sizes. I think I know which one I'm reading.
Seriously,
do you think we could get James Comey on to ask him his opinion about the bombing of Syria? Then we could.
Should this disrupt us focusing on your book?
They don't understand the media.
Who doesn't understand the media?
Oh, the folks who think that what you just said, that any kind of boring war story would overshadow a Trump penis story.
I mean, there was a time where that calculation made some sense, at least to a certain extent. And I'm not as convinced that the bombing in Sudan did not at least buy some time for Clinton. And
it was a more regal time.
You
could bomb a pharmaceutical company.
Reagan's invasion of the Falklands, I think, if I remember correctly, took
Wait, you mean Grenada, right?
Grenada, I'm sorry, took a lot of the attention away from, I mean, you can't take it all, but from the death of the Marines in Lebanon. I think it was 265 Marines. And so there is some reason for them to believe it, but the amazing, what I found amazing about that clip too is just the way the question was phrased. Like, don't you think that if we do bomb Syria, shouldn't it be appropriate that is a bigger story than Comey? Like, it's just, it's a very weird time.
It's an insane time. Although that Reagan story is pretty insane. Hezbollah kills a bunch of troops, and our answer is to go invade a sovereign democratic socialist experiment in the Southern Caribbean. With under a million people. That is somewhat crazy as well.
Under a million people.
Really weird.
How many people live in Guyana?
No, Guyana.
Excuse me, Grenada.
Oh,
sorry.
I think it's possibly like smaller than Worcester, Massachusetts. But it was all about
Soviet influence.
No, it was about our medical students who were there.
What?
Yeah.
It's all about our medical students who weren't good enough to go to mainland universities. We need to go engage in blatant imperialism for those that just could not get a good medical entrance exam and are partying in the Caribbean. Now a bunch of crazy black people are threatening them. How about we not pay attention to Lebanon now?